Hello and welcome to another edition of Choose the Challenge. I am LaWanna Bradford and I'm excited because I have a very special guest who's joining us today, none other than Marva Riley, who is a registered nurse as well as an advocate of all things wellness. She really believes in the importance of having a holistic approach when it comes to our well-being. And she and I are going to take a deep dive into this conversation here about giving yourself grace when it comes to improving our health, because I don't know about you, but I know sometimes I may have that objective or that goal and I miss it, and then I'm beating myself up, right? I'm guilting myself instead of just loving myself, giving myself grace, forgiving myself if I ate the cookie, and then moving on the next day and just being the best version of me that I can be. So we will be back in just a minute with Marva Riley, and I'm so excited for this conversation. Hey, Marva, how's it going?
And LaWanna, going great. How about you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Marva, you've been on this platform a couple times. You've been on Choose the Challenge, Power the Pen. And before we get started, I want you, if you don't mind, can you show individuals how they can connect with your books? Because you have some great resources for individuals who are looking to improve their wellness journey.
Yes, absolutely. Before we jump in. My first book is called Eat, Sleep, Meditate, A Nurse's Guide to Health. If anyone asked me which of my 4 books is a must read, I would say this one. It's easy. You can finish this in 2 hours. I think you read it through, LaWanna. Mm-hmm. And my second book is the recipe book, Share, Simple, Healthy, Easy, Inexpensive Recipes. And this is so appropriate. Lose weight and keep it off for good, Understanding the Weight Loss Game. And my last book, From Stuck to Limitless. They can all be bought on Amazon. Some of them are on Walmart.com, Target.com, and any online bookstore. You can connect with me on my YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, and I have a Facebook called Dr. Neil.
I thought it was important for me to just pause for a minute and also put the title that you are a registered nurse. So you have been in this journey, not only personally, but helping individuals live a well life. And I think that's really important when we have this conversation, because it's really about coming from a seat of authority. I know you stated that you had worked for years on the bariatric side of the house, correct?
Yes, I did. I took care of men and women who felt that the bariatric or the gastric bypass surgery, the bariatric surgery was their only option. And many of them were weighing 400, 500, 600, 700 pounds. Many of them got great results, but the strange thing is that many of them regained all the weight that they lost and then some, and some even passed away because they passed away from complications related to the surgery. No surgery is minor. I remember some years ago, I had a friend who was a GYN, an OBGYN, and I don't remember what it is. I was talking to her and I mentioned surgery, a minor surgery. And she said, Marva, no surgery is minor. And she mentioned that her friend's mom went to do a pacemaker and never made it out of the hospital. So nothing is minor. And gastric bypass or bariatric surgery is major. Now, many of these patients were counseled before the bariatric surgery as to what you can do, what you cannot eat. For example, you can't eat steak cubes. You can't eat a lot of sugar, very little, if any, sugar at all. You can't eat a lot of any foods. And many of them would go back to eating sugar. They would have this, what they call the dumping syndrome, where they became flushed and felt faint, diarrhea from the sugar. And many of them went back to eating like cubes of steak. I remember one lady, the cube of steak lodged in the pouch, and the stomach now is reduced to the size of the thumb. That's what the surgeon told us. And the lady went back to eating steak cubes, and it lodged in it. And she code blue, and they weren't able to save her. So surgery is never the best option for anything. And any doctor would tell you that that's a last resort. And what we're going to talk about today, people can implement some of these strategies and they will see weight loss results and not have to go the drastic route.
I like that. And I think it's important to talk about like you said, the negative side. There is a risk. And if you can choose to, maybe it'll take you a little bit longer, right? But through discipline, through the right coaching, the right resources, you'll slowly get to where you want to be versus, I just want it now. Let me get under the knife. And then I think a lot of people don't realize it's an entire lifestyle adjustment when you have to go that route. But it's also a lifestyle adjustment when you want to live a healthy life, right?
Period. It's a lifestyle adjustment even if you decide to take Ozempic, which there are people who are not diabetic. Ozempic is a drug that was manufactured for to treat diabetic patients. And many are taking Ozempic or its sister or brother or cousin for weight loss. And what Ozempic does is to kill the appetite. You don't feel like eating anything. You don't eat anything. But even with Ozempic, what you eat needs to be healthy, because you could be losing the weight and lose the weight and on Ozempic, and you were 16 and now you're down to a 6. But if you're still putting donuts and soda and Red Bull and that kind of thing in your body, then you've lost the weight, but you're not healthy. You know what I mean? And if you're not exercising, you've lost the weight, you're eating badly, you're not exercising, you're not sleeping well, you're stressed out, you're not healthy, even though you're skinny. I remember some years ago when I used to watch TV, I saw them advertising, I think it was a cholesterol drug at that time. And they were showing this skinny lady and this heavier lady. And the message was that even though this lady is skinny, she still had high cholesterol, and no different than the lady who was a little heavier. And there's a physician that I follow. I don't quite remember his name. He's Esselstein. I don't quite remember, but he's 101 in December this year. Sharp and everything. Always on Instagram. I follow him on YouTube. And he always says, if a woman is obese, but she exercises every day, she can outlive the skinny woman who does not exercise. And that has stuck with me. If a man or a woman is heavier, they're not of size 6, but you're 10 or 12, but you exercise regularly and you eat healthily, it's highly likely you will outlive that skinny person who doesn't eat properly and does not exercise. Because one thing you will find, that many people that are skinny are not skinny because they're doing some healthy stuff. They're smokers oftentimes. Okay. Or by genes, you might some people genetically, they're just skinny. No matter how bad they eat, they just never gain weight. They want to gain weight, in fact, but they just never gain weight.
I like what you said, because sometimes we have this image in our head and we look at individuals and we compare, and it's like, well, she looks better than her, but there's a term, skinny fat, right? I know people who are very lean and they suffer from high blood pressure, and you're thinking, how could that be? And then you have someone else that doesn't. In fact, my brother, he does CrossFit, everything. I mean, we were both very athletic, and we were talking the other day, and he's now taking some high blood pressure medication. And he said, I'm older than he is by 5 years. And he goes, well, what medications are you on for high blood pressure?
No,
I said, I'm not. And it shocked him. He's like, what? And I
Yeah.
said, no, but see, I'm just using as an example. So Harlan, forgive me, but it's stress.
Yes.
He's in a very
Yes.
stressful environment at work. And
Yes.
that's the other thing, is being able to manage the stress, finding a way
Yeah.
to release, because that's toxic buildup happening in your system.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to link this stress to the Christmas holiday, the Hanukkah holiday, this holiday season up until New Year's, there's a lot of stress. People are stressed. People who are not even supposed to be stressed are stressed. They ain't got no little kids to be buying gifts for. They have nothing really to be stressed, but it's like it's the norm to be stressed at this time of the year. Not for me personally, but people are just stressed out at this time of the year. So this might not be the time for you to even think about your New Year's health goals, because you can't think about it from a clear-minded perspective. Maybe not even the first week in January should you be venturing on a weight loss or health goal for 2025. You might need to take the month of January and just decompress. Think about what it is I want to do, and then figure out how you're going to get it done. That might be the week you head on over to Amazon and get my book, read it through, because it's a quick read, and then you write down some of the steps that Marva said you can take, and then you start gradually work on it, and not focus so much on the weight loss. If you gained 20 pounds in 2024, do not expect to lose that 20 pounds by March or April or May of 2025, or maybe not even December of 2025. Give yourself grace, because if you take it off quickly, you're going to put it back on quickly. But if you establish a healthy lifestyle and you systematically, gradually lose the weight, you will get to your goal. You might not get to it in 6 months or a year, but if you do it bit by bit, it's more sustainable. The lifestyle is more sustainable, and the weight loss will be more sustainable. And also, I would say, don't focus so much on the health, on the weight, because you're gonna gain some. I mean, you could literally gain 2-3 pounds overnight just by eating a piece of cake and drinking some soda and a beer or eggnog or something like that. So if next year, if there's one thing other than programming your mind and dealing with the mindset, I would say stop focusing on that weight. Just focusing on the healthy lifestyle, eating healthy foods, eating real foods, minimize ultra processed foods, minimize sugar and excess salt, and eat real foods. Exercise 20 minutes a day, 4 to 5 days a week, and then aim for getting 7 hours of sleep at night, and then do some journaling when you feel stressed. Have a book, a little notebook that you write, I'm feeling stressed today, and take some deep breaths, and what can I do to reduce my stress level, because life is stressful, but you have to figure out, how am I going to deal with it? And that's through self-care.
I want to interject something there. When you were talking about journaling, is the other thing journaling will help individuals do is realize at what point in time are they eating? Like, what's going on? What's that trigger? So if you find yourself sitting with that pint of ice cream, what happened in your day? What's going on that caused you to reach for that instead of the apple or something? And I think you can start to identify, maybe there's trends, maybe there's triggers for you. Yes. So then how do you adjust slowly so that you can overcome that? I'm not one that I know you mentioned that you love, you're a dessert person. I'm not. I'm a chip person, right? So I like tortilla chips, or I would do, or popcorn or something like that. But I have to be careful. So I don't, if I were to sit with a bag of kettle chips watching a movie, That wouldn't be a good thing for me, Marva, because by the end of the movie, I'm not talking about a little bag, folks. The entire bag of kettle chips would be gone.
The family size.
Exactly.
But that's why I don't bring it in the house. Because I remember Anthony loves chips. And he used to buy the family size and say, oh, I'm going to eat a little bit. No. By the end of the day, that bag of chips was done. And that's why I like sweets, but I don't bring them in my house because I don't have the discipline to see whatever it is that I like, to see it and not eat it. So what I do if I go out and I feel like eating 2 scoops of ice cream, which is not often, it's at the most frequently I will do it is like maybe every Sunday afternoon during the summertime, and maybe, but that's the worst it'll get. I will not bring ice cream in my house because I love ice cream. I will not bring Oreo cookies in my house because I love Oreo cookies, and even some healthy things actually you shouldn't bring into your house because, for example, I love almond butter. I love almond butter, and almond is healthy.
Oh my gosh.
Almond butter. Yeah, almond butter is healthy. It's healthy.
But not in mass quantities.
That's the point. That is the point. I mean, I will literally sit and eat 8 ounces of almond butter if you allow me. And then if I have some crackers or something, even apple, I'll dip it in, but it'll be done. And then you know how much fat calories that will be because we get calories from fat, carbohydrates, and proteins. Those are the macronutrients that have the most calories. So even though it's healthy, potato is healthy. But on your weight loss journey next year, you might want to have half a potato instead of 1 large baking potato. You know what I mean? Right. So, yeah.
You know, when you said potatoes, I was thinking about, you know, from history about the potato famine in Ireland. So it's like the only thing that was available was potatoes. And I thought for me, if we had a modern day potato famine, I would be fine because I like all kinds of potatoes, from French fries to boiled to baked to au gratin. I love potatoes. So again, what you're saying is it's being mindful, but also moderation, right? And I love what you said because I made a decision to do that. You said that you choose not to bring those things that are most tempting for you in the house. And last weekend, I actually cleaned out my pantry. It was hard, but I threw out my chips because I said, either you throw them out, LaWanna, or you're going to sit here and you're going to eat these 3 bags of chips. Your choice. Yes. And I said, nah, it's better. Let me throw them out because that's sort of a mental thing that I'm doing. I'm specifically involved in saying, I'm discarding this. It's not good for me. Mm-hmm. And then, like you said, if I'm out and I order something, then I can have a little side of kettle chips. Or if I'm at a Mexican restaurant, then okay, I can have some chips and salsa. But I don't need to have a big old bag, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, the side of the mind. If it's in the house, you're gonna eat it. It would be like someone is trying to kick smoking. And you decided that that might be somebody's goal, by the way, for 2025 to quit smoking. But you buy the cigarette and put it in your closet, in your pantry or wherever, or your spouse is a smoker and brings a cigarette home. When you see that cigarette, even if you don't see it and you know it's in the house, you're going to go back to it. So but if it's not in the house, you might drive to the store and go buy the cigarette. But is it likely? It's less likely that you're going to drive and go buy that cigarette. Well, it's the same thing with the foods. Whatever you like and you know it's not good for you, do not bring it in the house. Another thing is that, okay, so you like that kettle chips. When you go to do your grocery shopping, make a list of the things that you're going to buy at that grocery store and stick with it. That means if kettle chips is not on that list, You're not going to buy it. Yeah. Yeah. Because they have all these things just where we're going to see them when we get to the register. They have all of these things right by the register, tempting by design, and it's so easy to reach for it. But if you say, I'm going to stick to my shopping list, then it's not a problem because it's not on your shopping list.
Yeah, that's, again, folks, we're here with Marva Riley, and we are talking about how to give yourself a grace when it comes to improving your health. And we're laughing, but this is a very serious conversation. These are simple strategies that you can implement today, not bringing certain temptations into your house, sticking to that shopping list and not saying, let me go ahead and grab that bag of kettle chips. If it's not on the list, it's not on the list. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about mindset, Marva. What about those individuals that they're like, they say they're committed, but then it seems like within 2 or 3 weeks of making that goal, and we'll talk about those that are hitting the new year, they make that goal, and within 30 days, they're no longer committed to eating healthy. They've stopped going to the gym.
Yeah.
Why is that? What's going on?
They were never committed. Because the healthy lifestyle commitment is a marriage. So if you go into a marriage or to whatever, whether it's, a marriage, and you say, I'm committed to the marriage, you're going to work it through even when things are up, when he drives you crazy or she drives you crazy or whomever drives you crazy. You're going to sit down, talk, cuss it out, whatever you need to do and get back on track. That's commitment. But if you say you're committed, you go before the minister or the judge or whomever married you, and you said, I'm committed. But the first thing that happened, you say, I'm out, I'm bouncing. You were never committed. Okay? Commitment requires discipline. You have to say, oh, yes, okay, so I messed up. It's the end of January and I only lost 1 pound or I haven't lost 1 pound, but I am committed to stick with this. And if you are committed to discipline yourself and stick with it, you will stick with it and you will see results. You might not see the 20 pounds weight loss. You might not drop from the size 10 to the size 8 that you wanted, but you will see results because sometimes actually you won't even lose weight, but you lose an inch off your waistline, or that dress or that pants or that shirt fits you better, or you look in the mirror and your face doesn't look as big, or you find that you're not snoring as much because you've lost a little bit of inches from your tummy. You got to stick with it. It's a marriage. You're in this for the long haul, and it's unlikely that you would put in a year or even 2 years and you don't see any results if you are doing your part. Because the thing is, unlike marrying someone, if you are in a relationship with healthy living, it's on you, because the healthy living is there. The parks are there for you to walk. The gym is there for you to go to. The healthy food is there for you to eat. Now you have to do your part. But I find that the biggest issue with us is a lack of discipline. And that's why the mind is so important.
Let's go to a quick break, and we're going to come back and unpackage this conversation about discipline. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, we're back here with Marva Riley, and we're talking about giving yourself grace on your road to or journey to becoming healthy. And we stopped as she challenged us about how disciplined are we when it comes to maintaining our wellness or reaching for our wellness goal. Marva, why is discipline an issue?
I'm not even sure why it is an issue. I think discipline and commitment go hand in hand. So if you're committed, you will build discipline. If you're disciplined, you will work. You will be committed. Whatever you'll be committed, because the thing is that we discipline ourselves to get up at 6 o'clock to get ourselves ready, get the kids ready, to get to somebody's job or to get to our business by 8 o'clock and put in 8-9 hours and repeat the next day. We're disciplined enough to do that. Okay, we're disciplined enough to, let's say that we have to pay our light bill every month or they'll cut it off. So we are capable of exercising discipline, but this health that is so important, we take for granted, and we think that we're going to have it all the time until something knocks on our door, and sometimes that something is a little too late. And the thing is that if we don't discipline ourselves to get healthy and stay healthy, well, if something happens, you're actually going to discipline yourself trying to get back that health that you've lost. So, you have the ability to discipline yourself. You just have to exercise it. And that's where mindset comes in. You might have to hire a coach. If you can afford to hire a coach, hire a coach. But you know what? There's so many people that give such free information online every single day, me being one of them. I don't charge for coaching. I don't charge to give anybody any suggestions. I don't give personal health advice to anyone. Okay, but if you pick up even a few nuggets from what I say and you see me do, as Paul said in the Bible, do as you see me doing. If you see what I eat and you see what I do exercise-wise, and the fun and the mental health and the sleep that I talk about, write about, post about every day, and you say, I'm going to take some of these nuggets, you'll be well on your way. And so many people are on every social media platform. People write books about their experience with life and death and how they change their health and reverse all kind of health issues. The material is out there to help you, even if you can't afford to hire a coach. But there's help there. And to help you to figure out a plan and to stick with it. But you have to discipline yourself, and you have to program your mind, and you have to realize that your health is actually the most important thing you have. Because if you lose your health, you really lose everything. Because all the money you have will be naught. You won't be able to afford to enjoy your nice house. You can't enjoy your nice car. If you like to travel, you won't be able to travel because you have no health. I remember years ago, I used to work with someone, and she had inherited quite a bit of money from her father, who was wealthy. It was two of them, her and her brother. They inherited a lot of money. She didn't have any children. She just had a few cats. And she never did anything to enjoy her life. And she would smoke every day. I would always see her at her desk. Those were the days when you could smoke at your desk. And she was diagnosed. I mean, we always talked to her about it. And even the customers would say, why are you doing that? You're killing yourself. And she just kept smoking. She was diagnosed with cancer. And before she was diagnosed with cancer, she used to always say, I don't believe there's any God. There's no God. Everybody's God. And I'm not saying she's wrong, because you're entitled to believe whatever you want to believe. The point I'm getting to is she was diagnosed with cancer, and she was happy to take prayer from anyone. And she was grasping for her life. And she said to me one day, I called her, and she said, Marva, I have so much money, and I've always wanted to go to Australia. I'm going to go to Australia and piss away. Those were her money. And piss away all that money that I inherited from Dad. Well, you know what? She never made it to Australia. Within 4 months, just kept going down the hill until she passed away 6 months after her diagnosis. Well, you might not have to deal with passing away, but chronic sickness, do you think it's worth injecting yourself with insulin every day if you have another choice, or taking 25 pills a day from all kind of diseases if you have an option to reverse health issues or prevent them. It's worth it.
There's one thing I want us to talk about, really the last topic before we sign off, is our parents. So I know you lost both your mom and dad in the last 12 months. I lost my dad, but they lived long, healthy, vibrant lives.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
and I found out
that was 94, and the month before he passed, he was an avid golfer, but he had a putting green, professional grade putting green in the back. And he was teaching his nephew how to golf a month before he passed.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, and towards the end, as you get older, you're going to have some challenges just because the body does what the body does. But it wasn't because he wasn't getting proper sleep or not eating. I think I told you, Marvin, I want to hear about your parents. My dad's, like you said, you love desserts. Dad loved two things. He loved his ice cream and he loved fried chicken. But we would crack up whenever he'd say he wanted fried chicken. We're like, okay, well, how many pieces do you want? He'd say 1 chicken wing.
Yeah.
A wing, the smallest piece of the chicken. And that's all he would eat. Yeah. And then if he wanted ice cream, he would have, the little small Bluebell tiny cups.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it.
He would never do anything else. And we would laugh, but he still enjoyed what he enjoyed, but he didn't overdo it. He didn't indulge, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. But I know your dad was in the service. So when you're in the service, you're taught discipline. You have no choice but to be disciplined. And that's what he was exercising. My dad was not in the service, but they grew up at a time when things were hard and they learned to discipline themselves. But my dad passed at 92. And the very day that he passed, he was walking around in the nursing home. I got him in the nursing home for, I think, 2 weeks before he passed away. He was so stubborn. He lived in Jamaica. I live here. And I was just worried sick. And finally, my cousin tricked him and took him to a nursing home. But he was in his right mind. He was walking up until when he went to bed, and the lady went to check on him later on the night and found that he had slipped into a coma, and she stayed with him until he passed away. But my dad, like yours, was a walker. I see that hill that you're going, in Arizona, that your dad was walking at 90 something. In Jamaica, where my dad lived, hills. And he walked in Mandeville, where we're from. Everybody knows him as the walker, the old man who's always walking. They talk about it at his funeral. He ate the roots. He ate meat. He ate pork and he ate beef. But the thing is that I never saw anyone growing up eating even a half a pound or a quarter pound of beef. Now they're putting a whole pound of beef on your plate. So like I mentioned in our last show, and is in my book, quantity is important. Your dad ate 1 chicken wing. Not a half of a chicken like some people sit over. Right. He ate 1 little cup of Bluebell ice cream. Doesn't mean you can't eat Bluebell ice cream. He didn't eat a pint, And our dads, I believe, had set bedtime. Mine did. Yes. Set time to bed, set time to get up. They spent a lot of time in nature. Yes. Lifestyle. We call it holistic lifestyle. They never even heard that term. They just knew it was a healthy way to be. Exactly. And so did my mom. My mom too was like that. Walked a lot and didn't. Oh my goodness! When I would go to Jamaica to visit my mom, and I would see what my mom, she liked fried chicken too. So there's a man up the road that you would fry the chicken, and I would always go up there and buy some for her. And that 1 little fried chicken lunch would serve mom twice. Didn't eat much. We eat too much.
We do. And, going back to desserts, when you order desserts now, it's like they're giving you a quarter of the pie or a quarter. Yes. It's
Yes.
so big. But when we
Yes.
get a normal portion, what do people say? Is this all I'm getting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a I don't remember the name of the restaurant, but it's in Las Vegas. It's in the old casino district area, and I think I forgot the name of the area, but
Mm-hmm.
they have burgers, and they're so large. You actually have to sign a waiver. When you walk in, the people are wearing like medical gowns and they have their stethoscopes, but it's like considered like a heart attack. It's so big, and people go there to see if they can devour this brontosaurus looking burger. It's ridiculous.
And they have hot dog
But
competition.
you literally have to sign something in this
Yeah.
restaurant that you're willing to eat that.
Yeah. No, I mean that I mean anyone who has their marbles together would not participate in such a thing. I see hot dog competition of people eating dozens of hot dog. You know, the Cancer Society and the World Health Organization have classified these processed meats like the hot dog and the bacon and things like that, salami, as carcinogenic. They're carcinogenic. They cause cancer, just like we know tobacco can cause cancer. These processed meats can cause cancer. So why would I go in a hot dog competition to see how many hot dogs we can eat? We have to use common sense and good judgment. And that is lacking a lot in undiscipline, a lot in this culture. People are drinking supersized sodas, double-decker burgers,
Yeah, everything's supersized. Yes.
yes, everything is supersized. We went out to dinner once, and we asked to get a side of French fries. I mean, it was like a cart full of French fries they bought, and this was supposedly an upscale restaurant. We've never been back because it's you have to have discipline. That's the bottom line, and you have to know your why. Why do I need to get well? Why do I need to lose the weight? Why do I need to? What is your why? And if your why is important,
I'm sorry. Let me read this. So it's called the Heart Attack Grill. It says, is a hospital-themed restaurant in downtown Las Vegas. It has become internationally famous for embracing and promoting an unhealthy diet of incredibly large hamburgers. That's its claim to fame.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad?
That's crazy. That's crazy. The busiest restaurant in downtown Augusta, where that's the closest big city to where we live, is a pizza restaurant, and I'm telling you, every time you go there, they're jam-packed inside and they're jam-packed outside. Okay, because we've allowed our taste buds to rule us. I'm not saying a pizza now and then is not okay, or because you don't want to deprive yourself of everything now. But my goodness, every day, every weekend, I mean, one person could eat an extra large pizza. No, you got to discipline yourself, and you have to know in 2025, if you decide to jump off the bandwagon, not go back to the gym, stop eating healthy, not focusing on sleep, keeping that stress level high, then you're not committed. That's it. You're not committed, and you lack discipline. And those are two areas that you need to work on. You might need to get a professional to help you to work through that, like a health coach or fitness coach. But you have to work through that discipline and that commitment and that mindset before you go in. So that, because, the thing is that every time that you start this and fail and start and fail, and you begin to feel like you're a loser. And you're not a loser. You just lack commitment.
And I think it's important to schedule. Sometimes it helps to schedule yourself on your calendar. Love yourself enough that whatever time, like you said, if it's 20 minutes, then set your alarm on your phone, and that's your time. And you need to take it and be unapologetic for it, and even be disciplined in the times that you eat. eating 9, 10 o'clock at night and going to sleep on that, to me, it's like indigestion and heartburn waiting to happen and nightmares. But so we can make simple choices that can reap big results. Marva, we are already out of time. We're going to have you back so we can follow people's fitness journeys. And I want to say thank you so much for coming on to Choose the Challenge. Can you tell everyone again, show your books so they can go and order them? And I know they're all available on Amazon.
They're all available on Amazon, and everyone knows that with Amazon Prime, you order, you get your books in 2 days. In fact, sometimes the next day, Amazon delivers them. So this is my first book, Eat, Sleep, Meditate, A Nurse's Guide to Health. And then this is my weight loss book. A lot of people have weight loss as their goal for 2025. It's called Lose Weight and Keep It Off for Good. Understanding the weight loss game. And I deal with the mind a lot in this book. And then if you say, oh, I don't know how to cook healthy foods, I don't have time to cook healthy foods, where am I going to get healthy recipes? This has over 100. And every one of them you can whip up in under 30 minutes. Another tip that I share in here is to cook enough food for a few days, stick it in your refrigerator, heat it up as you need it. And then you might feel stuck. You can become limitless and take back your health. This is my fourth book, From Stuck to Limitless. And all of these are available on Amazon. Some of them are available on Walmart.com and Target.com.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Marva Riley, for joining us, and to our viewing audience. Thank you for following us on E360 TV and those who are watching us streaming on Facebook or LinkedIn. We look forward to seeing you next week for another edition of Choose the Challenge.
Yes, for now.
Are you ready to defy gravity and challenge the impossible? Meet LaWanna Bradford, the visionary leader behind Choose to Challenge on E360 TV. Now in its 5th season, this groundbreaking show shines a spotlight on voices of change from across the globe. Born during the pandemic, Choose to Challenge becomes a platform for transformation where no topic is off limits. Every episode highlights individuals breaking barriers, rewriting narratives, and making an impact. Ready to share your story and inspire change? Call 404-618-2824 to become a guest. This is your moment to rise. Tune in now at e360tv.com. Your voice matters. Let's change the world together.